Yes, look, just before we go on, I received this message from a farmer this week highlighting the government has no understanding of this drought or where it's taking us. This is a dust tsunami. The nation's food bowl is almost non-existent now, and the wheat and barley crops are being mowed and turned into fodder. But the farmer sent me a message, basically, and it says this: when the world is on your shoulders and your heart feels full of lead and your stomach churns like butter and the voice inside your head is reminding you of everything that you've ever said or done, all your failures and regrets, all the times your fear has won, just take a minute to remember that you've survived all this before. You've battled and you've conquered when you thought you had no more. You're stronger than you realise. You're brave and wise and kind, and you know you're so much bigger than the doubts that fill your mind. So breathe it in and let it out. Allow the ebb and flow. You can win this war. You always do. You're a warrior, you know. Lovely stuff, isn't it? Lovely stuff. Well, the farmers of Australia are angry. There's no doubt about that. And very angry with the so-called Minister for Agriculture, who now calls himself the Minister for Drought, David Littleproud. He refuses to do anything to help farmers, except talk about what he'll do. We've just highlighted the previous interview, the empty promises by the Morrison government. But now Littleproud has opened his mouth at the weekend and said the drought is a consequence of climate change. The rage in the bush is monumental. As I've said elsewhere, these people are either ignorant or dishonest. Take your pick. Professor Andrew Pittman AO is an atmospheric scientist. He's currently the director of the Australian Research Council's Centre of Excellence for Climate Extremes. Prior to this, he was the director of the Australian Research Council's Centre of Excellence for Climate System Science. He was awarded an AO this year in January, quote, for distinguished service to science as a leading researcher, particularly of climate systems and the environment. Well, back to Littleproud. The drought is caused by climate change. Professor Pittman at a Sydney University symposium was asked a question about drought a couple of weeks ago, and he replied, quote, this may not be what you expect to hear, but as far as the climate scientists know, there is no link between climate change and drought. That may not be, he said, what you read in the newspapers and sometimes hear commented, but there is no reason why climate change should make the landscape more arid. Can't quote, but you see, Frydenberg, the Treasurer, and Littleproud are impotent to assist farmers suffering from drought, so they mouth the platitudinous rubbish that it's a consequence of climate change. Well, who cares about the dairy farmer? In 1980, there were 22,000 dairy farms in Australia. Today, fewer than 6,000. And they're leaving the industry in droves. In the Murray Valley region, from northern Victoria to southern New South Wales, an estimated 400 dairy farmers have left there in the past year. Milk production has halved and sale yards are flooded with unwanted surplus dairy cows. Truckloads and truckloads of dairy cows, hundreds a week, are being killed. As one farmer said, we can't milk cows without fodder. We can't have fodder without water. For the second year in a row, New South Wales irrigators can't legally access any of their water. Why? Well, we now allow corporates who don't own a tablecloth of land to own and trade in water. The result is you've got outfits like Duxton Water, which currently owns enough water to fill the Warrenora Dam, 72,000 megalitres. That company states openly that its, quote, primary objective is to, quote, generate annual income through capitalising on the increasing demand for scarce water resources. So this water trading has pushed up the long-term average price of water for irrigators from $135 a megalitre to $800 a megalitre. What's the government do? Nothing. It's worse than that. They've got an outfit called the Commonwealth Environmental Water Holder. They own, the government, 2,000 gigalitres of water for Sydney harbours. But the dairy farmer with no water and no fodder and prices of both going through the roof is left to whistle Dixie. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, on Fox Sports laugh at the Matty John show with Brian Fletcher and Nathan Hindmarsh. They're terrific. Nathan Hindmarsh's brother, Ian, is part of the dairying family that's been milking cows in Australia for more than 170 years. He said the drought has increased his costs by 40%, but he said the bank will foreclose on his business before he's able to return a profit. He said the drought has rendered his property to dust. The price of grain's gone up by 80%. The price of hay has doubled, but the price he can sell his milk to the supermarkets hasn't changed. In our Brisbane studios is Scott Priebbenow. He too is part of a farming family, as I was. They've been dairying on the Darling Downs for 60 years. He has sent his dairy herd to the meatworks. In a chilling statement this week, he said simply, our cows are going to be hanging on a hook in the fridge. And then this, it's the supermarkets. You dirty, rotten mongrel bastards. How dare you put the price up and not pass it on to the farmers? Scott Priebbenow is in our Brisbane studio. Scott, thank you for joining us, and I'm sorry you're joining us in such circumstances. How do you respond to all of this?
No, I'm still gut-wrenched, Alan. It still hurts being here, but I still got a bit of steam left in me, so I'm still here to fight another day.
You said, I feel let down, I feel shattered, I feel sad. It's so easy to fix. That's why I'm so angry.
Yep.
How do we fix it?
Yep. No, it's just, you know, how come the government, or I don't know who you're going to talk to about this, but the supermarkets have actually, they put the price up in February, 10 cents, and when we got 1.4 cents, and Norco, our producer, put in the other 6 cents, so we got 7.5 cents. Then in July, they put the price up another 10 cents. No one knew anything about it. And they decided they need to start making money out of milk. Like, you dirty, rotten, mongrel bastards. You know, we need that 10 cents. My cows wouldn't be made into mince now or whatever. You know, I don't get it, Alan. I don't get what is Coles' agenda. Like, you've obviously decided to make money out of milk now, and you're going to look pretty bloody stupid when there's no milk to make money out of. And what is the government's agenda? Like, seriously, you've got this fund somewhere, and we're not going to see it till July next year? Like, there's guys around me who are hanging on by their bare scrimp of their teeth, and they're about 2 weeks away from sending all their cows to the abattoir, and as the guys that have put his place on the market the other day, all because the price of milk. And it's not only my farm. Yeah, I'm sad for us, but we've still got 30 heifers there, and we're still milking 8 cows because Mum and Dad have built this herd up, and now it's disappeared. But my mum, she's been milking cows for 57 years, and if she can't go down and pat a cow twice a day and talk to them, and it's just a sad day. But what is the agenda? There's so many people going out, and surely the government, surely it's the jobs created by us farmers. And you know, I put 2 guys off. I mean, yeah, okay, a big deal, but that's what about the next guy who puts the next job guys off? You know, the only thing Australia wants in their life is to have a roof over their head and a secure job. And we can't do that while we've been screwed over by the supermarkets.
Just for the
Something's
benefit,
got to change.
For the benefit of our viewers, last August, Coles, Woolworths and Aldi increased the price of their home brand milk products by 10 cents. That price, we were told, would all go to the farmer. That's what they said. That hasn't gone to the farmer. That's your point, isn't it, Scott?
Absolutely. Absolutely not. We've seen a little tiny bit, and that all that's done is justified the ACCC to say they haven't done anything illegal.
No.
Because there's a supermarkets out there are saying how good they are. They put on their milk, drought relief milk. I've got people telling me, geez, times are tough, but geez, you know, it's good that you're getting 20 cents more. I'm saying 20 cents? You know, they've deceived the public into thinking that they've done the good thing by giving us the 20 cents.
See, it's just wrong. Your costs are going through the roof, your farm gate price isn't. Your costs are going through the roof and your farm gate price stays where it is. Your dad is Scott Priebbenow, isn't he?
That's him.
And he's 83, and he remembers when there were 24,000 dairy farmers on the Darling Downs. 24,000. My old man was one of them. Today there are fewer than 330 in the whole of Queensland. That was 24,000 on the Darling Downs. So we're going to start importing milk.
That's right.
I want to bring Peter in here because she's seen all of this and she knows the bush. Peter, this is unbelievable stuff. It's shameful, isn't it?
Yeah, well, my sister's on a dairy farm, Scott. She's down near Timboon. They milk 1,000 cows. And obviously it's different circumstances down there because they've got good feed. But what people at home, I don't think, understand fully. When you're talking about there, you said 1.4 cents. There's been an increase to the big supermarkets of 20 cents. I stand there and buy my milk and my butter and I buy all the local stuff I can, but I stand there watching families, people who want to do the right thing by the farmer, looking for the milk, reading around the back, looking at the bottles, trying to find a milk that goes back to you and people like you around the country because they want to grow our industries. They've got all the goodwill in the world, but the supermarkets and others are clearly ripping them off because you're not seeing a dollar. And I don't understand how Australians can go and spend double the amount of money on a flat white coffee or a cappuccino with a very, very small component of milk in it than they do on a litre of milk. They spend more on bottled water than they do on a litre of milk. And I don't want my milk from China, but that's where we're headed.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? Are we going to start importing milk, Scott?
Well, who knows, Alan? But, you know, look, you talk to everyone around the place and they want to say, well, how can we help you guys? I said, well, you know, we'll easily pay 50 cents more, but how do they do that? They can't,
Let me just, Scott, interrupt you there, explain to my viewers, which I should have said at the beginning. This man, Scott Priebbenow, that you're seeing on your screen here, lives miles and miles and miles away from this Brisbane studio. And when I spoke to him today about doing what are we going to do, and he said, I'll drive anywhere, Alan. I'll drive anywhere to let Australia know how bad this problem is. And Scott has driven miles and miles and miles to share the story. And now it's up to Australians to shame the government into doing something. I mean, this is the first time, Scott, in the history of your family that you've sold your herd.
No, well, never, you know, you're always culling and replacing, but never the whole lot, you know, and...
You said it's like losing my right arm.
Dad's eye.
It's like losing my right arm,
Yeah, that's right. And, but Alan, we've been harping on now about this for months now, like, and this didn't happen yesterday or 2 weeks ago or 6 months ago. This has been happening for years. And it's about time something happened now. Well, why can't it? Or what
Scott,
is... I don't get it, Al. I don't get it, Al. What is... Yeah, Peter.
Where is Dairy Australia? Where are all your industry organisations? Where is the National Farmers Federation in all of this? Because I haven't seen enough of any of them.
Look, they're all taking their time coming up with strategies. That's fine. But there's only one strategy.
That's it.
Simply give us take it back to $1 a litre for the supermarkets and give us the 20 cents.
Absolutely.
Straight to us.
Absolutely.
Simple.
Well, at the end of the day...
We'll be all here, people will have jobs, everyone will be happy.
Well, to people watching us in Queensland, I'll tell you something. As a result of what Scott's telling us, the latest figures I've got, there'll be a milk deficit in Queensland of between 150 and 160 million litres. You've got to work out where that's going to come from. As Peter said before, we're going to start importing it from China. We've sold all our dairy farms in Tasmania to China. What's next? And here are these farmers walking off every day. Sorry, Scott.
You tell me, does the Australian community want that? Do they want China's milk? Or do they want us, the good, clean product? Like,
absolutely.
You tell me, people. I'm happy. You tell me what you want to do.
Good on you. Well, Scotty, we'll leave it there. You and I will keep in touch.
Righto.
Peter knows the scene backwards. We could go on forever.